we talked about it a little bit earlier, compared to Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And when you look at the timetable for this thing, this game against the Patriots is pivotal. Because when you take a look and watch what the Browns are coming up against, is a team that is coached by Mike Vrabel, a team that is going to come out here defensively and be very solid, not going to hurt themselves, a team that is going to stop the run. They have not allowed over a 50-yard rusher all year, and a team that is playing very good football, 3 wins in a row on the road with a quarterback that is playing lights out at this point. When you take a look at the timetable for Shedeur Sanders, and this is why I love the fact that he has been in that role for a couple of weeks now. He's been in a backup role last week. So that gives him an opportunity to understand what the game plan is and to look at the game plan and figure out what he needs to do, right? Understanding what it feels like to call those plays in the huddle, have the headsets on, understand the play call, get an opportunity to be in those meetings and putting the game plan in for the week, getting opportunity to learn and understand certain things, right? And I think a lot of people keep trying to make it seem like, well, if he's not getting these first team reps, that means that he's going to be buried on the bench. That's not what it is. Everybody is reading this wrong. I feel like everybody reading it wrong. They understand. Let me tell you this. They understand what Shedeur Sanders is. The problem is you falling into this narrative that he's not ready to play, or he's somehow so far behind. If he's far behind what Dylan Gabriel is doing, we in trouble. The fact that this is all part of it. You build up Dylan Gabriel to a point where he's Superman. You started early. You keep building and build. He's a supercomputer. He reads through everything, bro. And then when you see it, you got to walk that back because it ain't nothing special. Am I saying that Shedeur Sanders is going to come out here and be 15 to 25,000 times better than Dylan Gabriel? No. I'm telling you that the narrative and myth that somehow he's 3,000 light years behind is crazy work. Now, the timetable is quickly ticking. You know why? Because no matter what you're going to say, Shedeur Sanders hasn't seen the field. He ain't played. In every game that the book is out, the film is out, and you see it, you get an opportunity to make a further assessment on Dylan Gabriel. At the beginning of the season, it was, we're going to chill out and let Shedeur get the last 3 games. Well, if you look at this schedule, and he comes out here against the New England Patriots, and he does not look well, it looks bad, and it looks like he's regressing, I'm here to tell you, he is definitely in play after the bye week. You got a whole 2 weeks to ramp him up, get him ready, and get ready for a game against the Jets on the road. Huh? Guess what they did with Dylan Gabriel? They ramped him up, got him ready. His first start was where? In London. They see it didn't work out that bad. You see that Dylan Gabriel went out there and was respectable in London. It wasn't like they were going to a combat zone. So the Cleveland Browns had some data and say, well, listen, Shedeur's been sitting behind him for a couple of weeks now. Understands the backup role. He's actually sitting here. He's been in a meeting for the game plan. And we got 2 whole weeks to get him ready and prepared to go to play a Jets team. This week is the key. This week is trying to understand what exactly do the Cleveland Browns do. We'll talk about why the Patriots game is going to tell us a lot about the Browns, Coach Stefanski, and the quarterback situation. But the timetable for playing Shedeur Sanders was sped up when they traded Joe Flacco. It's crazy because that is why when they removed Joe Flacco from the building, they told you what you needed to know. The timetable was sped up. Because if they didn't think that Shedeur Sanders was ready to go, they would have just went ahead and elevated Bailey Zappi, wouldn't they? They would have kept Joe Flacco, wouldn't they? But they told you the timetable was coming. The timetable is coming, especially when, okay, now it looks like there's a couple quarterbacks emerging. Mendoza, Simpson, Some of those names. I just talked to Sean King on my podcast about some of the names that he sees guys that are out here balling right now. So if you want a quarterback and you want to figure it out, you got to give Shedeur Sanders an opportunity to either prove himself worthy of that position, and so you don't draft another quarterback, but you got to give him the runway to set it up. That's why I've been sitting. You say, G. Bush, I don't know. You be too patient for me. I don't like how you be patient like that. I said, nah, because what you're never going to accuse me of is sitting here telling you just want to see Shedeur play. You're just in the cult. No, you just actually, when you have a rebuttal, here's the way you argue. You tell me factually, without being vague, where you disagree with me at, and then we could go back and forth and have a conversation based on the facts. Because I ask you, I don't need to be in a cult to watch the film work and say, you missed that open throw. I don't need to be in a cult to sit here and be like, that film was looking nasty work. You've regressed the last 2 games. And I could also point back to it that on UCSS, I've said all along, nope, I want to see a progression. I'm not pulling you after 1 game. I'm not pulling you after 2 games. Heck, I didn't even say I'm pulling you after 3 games. I'm going to give you, you're going to start right against the New England Patriots too. And we're going to see what you got, big dog. I want to see your progression. I want to see how you handle the rush. I want to see how your processing, the Intel Pentium processor, is it sped up? Are we now seeing the game differently? You got your runway. Here you go. But let me tell you this. If it don't look good and it look bad, that timetable is ticking. Tick, 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 tick. And you can say, I didn't see Shedeur Sanders standing by anybody. I saw Shedeur Sanders with a backwards hat. Somebody told me, somebody over a mythical person told me this over there, and that person, stop it. You're starting to sound like you just don't want anybody but Shedeur. And I don't even sound like anybody but Dillon Gabriel, do I? Everybody wants to speed it up. Nah, I ain't speeding it up. His play speeding it up. That's the way it works. You stand on your own merits. I don't want to put Shedeur Sanders in the game because of Shedeur. He's going in the game because Dillon Gabriel ain't getting it done. And by the way, I agree with Jonathan Peterlin. This narrative that somehow they've done a great job of developing. Listen, Sean King was on the other day. The only thing Shedeur Sanders is doing at this moment is being involved in the game plan. During the season, there ain't no development. He ain't even really got no reps. And Sean King pointed this out. If they was truly into developing him at the highest level and giving him that thought process, then they would have been giving him reps during the preseason camp, which he didn't get any. He said that is the time when you go to develop. During the season, it's 12 team reps. 3 of them might be handoffs. That ain't getting you ready. But the thing about competition and the thing about sports is this. You become a legend. You become a number 1 quarterback. You take jobs and you become a name in this league when you get in the game and you deliver. Reps be damned. All the rest of the stuff be damned. Guess what? When I get my chance, I'm gonna show out. And that's what people is determined on. Not whether or not they've been given all the leash in the world. When he get in that game, he's been patient a while, but when he get there, he better deliver. And I think he will.